Okay, well, before we start, music, of course. But second of all, what the fuck? Okay, before we just get into it and start ripping into fucking Finch and the OU Council for this absolute stupid shit, let's start with this. The SVOU Tiering Council conducted a vote on the remaining items on the tiering radar this week. This will be the final radar and the council vote for the time being, as we likely pivot to suspects moving forward. So basically what they're saying here is, alright, enough council shit, enough council stepping in to ban what needs to be banned. From here on out, we're going to start having suspect tests, which you're going to start seeing like stupid fucking ladder names and stuff like STOU or some shit like that. Alright, cool. So first of all, the first ban we should point out here is light clay. And light clay wasn't banned, of course, as you can tell by the overwhelming majority, except for fucking mind gaming. My theory for why light clay was tested was because of all of these Pokemon that are currently on the list / have been banned. And that's because light clay, for those of you who are uninitiated, is an item that extends the duration of screens, aka light screen, reflect, aurora veil, those types of moves, from 4 turns to 8 turns. Which means that if if your hail setter dies, your snow setter dies, you can effectively still keep aurora veil up if it was holding that item. So it's pretty much a win-win situation. I'm pretty sure, again, it was just on here because of these Pokemon right here, because behind screens they're either incredibly hard to kill or incredibly easy to set up with, and it just makes everything a lot more hostile and harder to play around. Because for those who don't know, the screens pretty much mitigate damage. Light screen mitigates the damage from special attacks that are coming in. Reflect mitigates the damage of physical attacks coming in, and Aurora Veil just does both. And you can actually, I believe you can actually stack all 3 of them. I don't know if it was just like a weird glitch I encountered or not, but anyways. The next Pokemon on here is Sneasler, and for those of you who are unaware, Sneasler is the new Hisuian Pokemon that was introduced in Pokemon Legends Arceus. It is the evolution of Hisuian Sneasel, and it's got some funny shit up his sleeve, honestly. He's got some pretty funny shit up his sleeve. So for those of you who don't know, go here, OU, and Sneasler. So Sneasler is a fighting poison type with pressure, unburden, and poison touch. With just how easy it is to proc unburden with all the new items and abilities slipped into the game, I can see why Sneasler was on, especially because I was doing some calcs with some friends, because I'm a loser who does calcs with friends. And I would just like to point out that the only way you outspeed Sneasler is with a Choice Scarf Regieleki. Like, after Sneasler gets the Unburden boost, the only way you beat it is with Scarf Regieleki. Because Scarf Regieleki caps out at 822, while, Unburden boosted Sneasler with a Jolly Nature caps out at 738. With an Adamant Nature, which is what you can't actually afford to run, you cap that at 672, meaning you already outspeed almost the entire tier. That is horrifying. And with its signature move, Dire Claw, you have a 50% chance to poison, sleep, or paralyze the target. I will go ahead and remain silent so y'all can let that sink in for the next 15 seconds or so. Does anybody else see the issue here? Especially with an ability like Poison Touch, which already increases your 50% to it with an extra 30% because you can stack those for whatever reason. But they chose not to ban it 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's like a 5-4 ban out of 9. 5 do not bans, 4 bans. I can see where they wanted it gone. It is fairly uncompetitive in nature with Dire Claw, but almost always, if you're running Dire Claw, which by the way is 80 base power, so it's like not even a bad move to run. But anyways, if you're running Dire Claw, you're probably just like fishing for something goofy, trying to do something silly, a little bit of trolling, if you will. But other than that, Sneasler is going to stay in OE for a bit, but it is seen as highly uncompetitive because of its nature. And it's also one of the better unburdened mons. I'm sorry, Hawlucha, you got fucking replaced by this thing. Because unlike Hawlucha, this thing actually has an attack and speed stack to work with, so. Anyways, the next Pokemon is Ursaluna. You know, Five Nights at Trick Room. Oh god, Five Nights at Trick Room. So, Ursaluna is the evolution to Ursaring introduced in Pokemon Legends Arceus. I'm not really going to go into detail about it. Just know it gets Guts and Bulletproof, and Guts, Bulletproof, and a Nerve. We got to talk about Guts and Guts though. So as you can see here, its bulk is 130, 105, 80, which is really fucking good. It's got an attack stat of 140, and it's got the coveted ground normal typing. Now, the reason I say coveted is because ground normal is one of the most terrifying offensive typings in the game, especially because Ursaluna gets stab on Facade. And you know, with Terastallization, you kind of get to either choose to strengthen your ground stab or your normal stab. And if you go normal, your Facade is like 2 times boosted instead of 1.5 because of stab, or same type advantage bonus if you want to get detected into like the whole terminology. But it's fairly Trick Room oriented because of its base 50 speed, but I've been seeing a lot of people run shit like Trailblaze, or just, I don't know, I honestly just get, oh no, it gets bulk up, never mind, you know what, I take it back, bulk up is horrifying, oh god. But yeah, the most common set you'll see is with a Flame Orb to proc a self-burn, stuff like that, but Bulletproof has been seeing some work because it lets it live Focus Blast, because of the fact that Focus Blast is a bullet type move. Same with Aura Sphere, meaning that Ursaluna can pretty much come in and just start wrecking stuff with Body Slam, start wrecking stuff with, oh my god, it gets Belly Jump, that's horrifying. Anyways, it could just start like running fades, especially because of Elemental Punches and Drain Punch, letting it stay healthy, and Earthquake over Headlong Rush, allowing it to have more survivability. Other than that, like, Ursaluna is scary. It's fucking horrifying. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people said do not ban to Ursaluna. The reason being because, oh, it's a Trick Room mod and Trick Room is not popular or cool. What? Oh. I just want to say that's stupid. That's such a stupid mentality to have because of that. Because of that mentality is the reason like a lot of shit didn't get banned. I just want to say because of that mentality. Oh, it dies to Sucker Punch. Calyrex Shadow Rider was allowed to stay in Gen 8 Ubers for the longest fucking time. That's all I gotta say. But enough dunking on the council for letting us keep Ursaluna, because I'm actually quite happy to keep the bear. I've slapped it on so many teams. The only team I'm really worried about them banning the bear is fucking Cap, create a Pokemon. That's because we got persistent. But anyways, the next Pokemon on the list is Urshi-Rapid Strike with an overwhelming 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. Everybody wanted banned. Everybody wanted him gone. It also doesn't help that this gen, Bears got Swords Dance, both Urshi-Rapid and Urshi-Fu Single Strike, meaning that they have reliable setup now. They don't have to go substitute bulk up. Like, they still can, but now they can get an immediate +2 and become terrifying because of their stabs always crit, like their signature stabs always critting. But Urshi-Rapid got banned. Like, well, the whole thing is right here. And I'll explain it later. But I just want to say that all of these are, ironically enough, tied together by one thing, with the exception of Zamazenta. We'll explain why. But the next Pokemon to go up on the slate, if this fucking announcement didn't give it away, is Volcarona. Volcarona got 1, 2, 8. Wow, wait. Well, it got 7 bans and 2 do not bans. Again, I'm pretty sure it's because it was one of the few Pokemon that abused like shenanigans. But we'll get into that later. And last but not least is Zamazenta H, or Zamazenta Hero, aka Base Zama. This guy right here, this little dude, this funny dog. This is a box art legendary, let's not forget this. Of course, it's gonna have stupid fucking stats. And finally getting access to reliable fighting stab and body press lets it go ham. So I guess Zamazenta Hero, yeah. Okay, so the takeaways are as follows. Urshi-Rapid Strike is banned unanimously due to a 9-0 council vote. Volcarona is banned with a supermajority due to a 7-2 council vote. Zamazenta received a majority, but not the supermajority it needed, 2 to 3 or higher. We will likely be suspect testing Zamazenta Hero during the upcoming week, given how close it was. Let's see. And then last but not least, Sneasler, 4 to 5 ban, 5 do not ban. Light Clay, 1 ban, 8 do not ban, and Ursa Luna, 0 ban, 9 do not ban, will all remain legal, and Scarlet Violet OU. I'm so sorry. Don't quote me. Sorry, it's confusing because Zamazenta just like right fucking there. But anyways, let's just, before I go off on my tangent, let's just explain this. Upon being added to the Generation 9 through Pokemon Home, Urshi-Rapid Strike was one of the best offensive presences. It gained access to the Swords Dance and the item Punching Gloves, which both bolster its offensive profile a great deal. It can now also use Terrestrialization and even has access to Trailblaze, making it a far better option than it was last generation. The reason this counts is because it now has something to hit a Gastrodon with. And Clodsire. It will water absorb Clodsire, and that's really about it. Besides the Zone Syria. So the dual stab combination of Surging Strikes and Close Combat, when boosted by a Sword Stance or Choice Band, is very challenging to stop, forcing people to use one of the small pool of resists. Offensive counterplay does admittedly exist in this case. Some faster foes can be dispatched of by Aqua Jet, or even a now faster Urshi-Rapid Strike if it opts to run the Red Trailblaze, but these still leave it accessible to many of the quickest Pokemon. Revenge killing as a whole is still possible thanks to things like Dragapult, who can also stomach a single hit, or Animorphs, Iron Valiant, and Walking Wake, who can take it out while outpacing it. The thing is that many of the counterplay involves foddering something off or high risk pivoting to enable, making Urshi-Rapid Strike already carry its weight to even get to this point. All the fucking fancy talk aside, for those who are just hearing me go, and what was he talking about? Close Combat Surging Strikes. Surging Strikes is a water type attack that hits 3 times and it crits every time. Close Combat, Fighting type base 120 power move coming off of Urshifu's attack stat. These 2 moves hit hard. Surging Strikes, I think, has like base 25 power, but it hits like a goddamn truck. Yeah, it is base 25 power, it's 100% accurate, always hits 3 times, and it hurts. So letting it Swords Dance lets Surging Strikes do a lot more damage, because again, the move always crits, which means you can consistently Swords Dance around switches, or even run Trailblaze, a grass type move that is like base 50 power, but allows it to base 50 power, 100% accuracy, and 100% chance to raise the user's speed by 1. So you have a way to hit things that originally walled you, like Gastrodon, who is a water ground type with Storm Drain, which was originally a resist, but then they started running Trailblaze, so good fucking luck. Let's see this part. The thing that makes many of this counterplay, the thing is that many of this counterplay involves soldering something off or high risk pivoting to enable. Basically, that's just nerd talk for you either have to let something die to switch in what's gonna kill it, or you have to play out the fucking wazoo and pray to God that some bullshit doesn't happen or that they don't read you. That's pretty much it. Other than that, Rapid Strike is a little too strong, is what they're saying. So this whole playing around Urshifu concept is a very, very dangerous tightrope to toe, as one wrong maneuver can lead to something being taken out. Ironic. The true trouble Urshifu Rapid Strike poses is the lack of consistent defensive counterplay, which causes unanimous quick bans. Toxin Pegs with the right move and spread can help minimize most Urshifu Rapid Strike variants, but otherwise we have to resort to otherwise mediocre options like Amoonguss, Slowbro, and Water Absorb Clodsire, which is an insufficient pool of overall counterplay to anything. Team building is warped and the metagame is pushed to be far more aggressive as a result of this dynamic. Another method of trying to check Urshifu Rapid Strike is exhausting your Terra on it, surprising it defensively, but this can be pivoted out of and has to be lined up perfectly with things like Terra Fairy Volcanion, Terra Water or Grass Volcarona, Terra Water Goldingo, or Terra Water Ursaluna. This is not seen as a reliable method of counterplay and can come at a very large cost if it is not timed well. Given this, Urshifu Rapid Strike has been banned unanimously. TLDR for literally this entire section. Hey, nothing is fat enough to take a hit from me, and anything that is dies to the other fucking moves it can click. So because of that, ban. Get this shit out of OU. Now, I just want to say, the two very good points that they brought up was Terra, having to terrestrialize defensively, which means basically change your type to something that can resist Urshifu. But I also do just want to fucking say that the big problem with Urshifu was the fact that it could Terra Water and its stab was no longer 1.5, but now 2 times if it went Terra Water, or it could suddenly gain a really good defensive profile that Terra to literally any other type. Oh hey, another fucking Urshifu on the field, Terra Grass. Oh hey, that's a fairy type and it's gonna hit you with a fairy type move? Terra Steel. That's a psychic type, Terra Steel, Terra Dark even. The terrestrialization basically just causes too many mind games that you have to play, and you can't really play 2 games at once unless you're like super ADHD. Then you can totally look into like the fucking multiverse and go, oh yeah, I have to do this, and that to win this game. Well, I also have to do this and that to play that game. But with this, it's complicated. You're playing 4D chess with portals and time skips. That's the kind of bullshit you're doing, because you have to guess the Terra on each Pokemon and what it could Terra into on your opponent's side, and you have to guess when you can Terra and whether you're going to do it defensively or offensively, and then you have to try to back your opponent into Terraing defensively so that the Terra that you have that counters that specific Terra can do it offensively. It's a whole fucking shit show is what I'm trying to say. That explanation was so convoluted and you could tell why. Alright. Volcarona has been near the center of tiering discussions for quite a few months now, predating Pokemon Home. Unfortunately, the uncertainty surrounding Home's release date left us unable to suspect things like it, Garganacl, or King Gambit, who drew the ire of many players. To make matters even more concerning, Volcarona came out after the release of Pokemon Home, and arguably got even stronger as it employed a wider, more practical array of Terra types and was able to focus on offensive variants as the developing metagame trended in that direction. Many people argue that Terra of Volcarona is more of a mechanical issue with the core of the metagame, but that is a discussion that cannot be tackled by just a single council vote and will be brought up to the community for a greater discussion in the coming weeks. In the meantime, we are left to focus on Volcarona and the current metagame. Sorry, I didn't highlight metagame, so the E in metagame, so I said metagame. But TLDR for this first paragraph. For this first paragraph, Volcarona has been the subject of controversy for as long as it's been in fucking Scarlet and Violet. A lot of people are saying, hey, yeah, it's not Volk's fault, it's literally Terrestrialization's fault, that shit is broken, ban it. But the council is saying, we can't do that. We can try to have a civil discussion with you, the player base, about it, and then a suspect test, but you guys have to all come together and vote to ban it. As of now, since the first suspect test resulted in a do not ban for Terra, we have our hands tied, meaning we can only nitpick problem child Pokemon, not the core mechanic. And I get it. But again, they are literally forced to focus on just Volcarona because of the first suspect testing. Do not ban Terra, which is the worst decision the entire fucking community has made. What is wrong with y'all? I can say this freely because during the time of the suspect test happening, I was at work. I cannot be faulted for any of this, LMAO. Alright, second paragraph. A lot of people assumed it would remain in the tier, as it has been a staple of in OU dating back to Generation 5, despite always being one of the best win conditions, but new benefits such as heavy-duty boosts from the last generation and terrestrialization made it different here arguably. With this said, it did not receive any support last vote, so what changed? To put it simply, the metagame did. We were all focused on new toys so much last week that as we had 2 votes surrounding them within the span of 3 to 4 days. So Volcarona, while very good and hard to reliably counter, was not at the forefront of discussions. However, once the dust settled on those bans, Volcarona not only had a greater place in the metagame, but also drew far more attention, and we had more time to analyze how it functioned. I explained this dynamic from my perspective here, and when my vote flipped over from the last week from do not ban to ban. However, many cancelmen spoke out as to why they find Volcarona problematic this week. Here are quotes from other posts. I'm not going to actually read all of these because I can actually TLDR all of this. Alright, on the upcoming tier rater, Volcarona offensively can handpick its own counters. Yes, Terra is the overall problem here, but it's not being reassessed until a little longer. Literally, Terra. Terra is the problem here, alongside Quiver Dance. This is a rush post, excuse grammar. Let's see. Yep, again. Along with the lack of toxic distribution, it's Terra, Water, Ground, Volk is common with the presence of Heat Translow, King G, and resisting those power jets from Bascam and Shifu Strike. Terra is the problem again. Alright, hi again, over the last couple of you. Jesus Christ, this person wrote an entire book. But again, it's literally just Terra. Yeah, it's literally just Terra again. Yeah, blow your Terra too early to take a kill, getting revenge, forced out being second at operating type, settling you with a weird disadvantage as your Terra is already gone. Yep, Terra's the problem again. And Ozma said to continue with Volcarona to use Pokemon's versatility. Yep, Terra Blast. TLDR, Quiver Dance, Move Pool, fucking Terra. Provided all of this reasoning, oh Jesus Christ, okay, cool. Provided all of this reasoning, Volcarona was banned from Scarlet Violet OU with 7 of 9 votes in favor. We intend to move forward with suspects, and the first one will likely be Zon's Hero, who fell 1 vote short of the ban. Stay tuned for this. Tagging Chris and Marty. Thank you, Chris and Marty, for your hard work, and holy shit, no, like deadass. I just want to say, while I have everyone's attention, thank you, Chris and Marty. You guys are keeping the metagame together, and I don't know how y'all are keeping your fucking sanity with this bullshit here. But yeah. Again, the problem isn't any of these Pokemon. The problem is one very, very funny mechanic called Terra. Terrestrialization. And this is like the first Pokemon that got banned because Terra was too strong. These Pokemon are not the first example. The first example I think would actually go to Annihilate because of its combination of Terra, of Terrestrialization, plus Rage Fist. That's what made it the big problem, Terrestrialization plus Rage Fist. But now that the home meta has dropped and everything looks like a fucking nightmare, oh my god. But yeah, now that everything looks like this, and we've got shit like Zaru, Zapdos Galar, so much shit coming in from old games and the new games, you know, like Samurai Hisui, Cleavor, so on, so forth. The problem is just presenting itself more often because the biggest problem is terrestrialization. And this all happened because everybody voted do not ban instead of ban on Terra during the suspect test, because the first ever suspect test wasn't even for a Pokemon, it was for the fucking mechanic, because they knew how troublesome the mechanic would be. And this is just proving my point. the fact that these two Pokemon were banned for almost the exact same reason, like before, the reason I say almost the exact same reason is because Urshi-Rapid could bolster its already scary arsenal, its already scary like moves with Terra. It could do it defensively or offensively, and Volcarona was banned just because of Terra. It was literally too strong to deal with. You could do any Terra, and Volcarona would benefit from it. Alongside the prospect of heavy-duty boots, all of a sudden, like, you could literally go an entire game, right? Finally knock off that Volcarona's heavy-duty boots, but if it Terra this like grass, it no longer was taking 50% from rocks, meaning you get scared out. It was now taking about fucking 10, 20%. 10, 5%. That's real. This grass was just strong. But the problem is, again, Terra and Terra Blast. Like, Terra Blast isn't broken on its own, but bolstered with Terra, it becomes an issue. So that's why I'm laughing at these bans. Because these bans are goofy as shit. They're funny as fuck. Because what makes this Pokemon a staple of OU broken is the latest fucking Terra. This latest fucking gimmick known as Terastallization. I have been your host, A13. Thank you for your time. When the Terra vote comes along, please vote ban. I don't even care about the metagame. I just think the Terra is a problem. It's a fun mechanic, but it's a problem when you play it with Pokemon that can't really, like, you know, counter it. They can't abuse it. That's the problem here. But anyways, I have been A13. Thank you for your time, and I will see you guys later. Peace.